Good morning, everybody. I think we're ready to begin. I hope you're keeping in the call today. I've just got my fan on the go. So today's webinar is going to be how you can work with voucher code partners, and we actually have a guest speaker for today, which is Claire from the Groupon Reach Network. I'm going to hand over to Claire now. She's going to run through her deck, and then at the end we should have 5 or 10 minutes to hang on for any questions that you may have for Claire. If you have any as we go through, please open up the Q&A box to the right of the screen and we'll see those come over and we'll publish any good ones. Or if you have any private messages for us, you can send them via that route as well, and we'll do our best to answer them after. So without further ado, I will hand over to Claire.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, and good morning to everyone. So as Michelle mentioned, I'm going to be taking you through how to work with voucher code partners, and then also how to build out your voucher code strategy. So what we're going to be going through today is, firstly, I guess the biggest question when thinking about launching in the voucher space: why should you discount? I'm going to be talking through how we can tap into some elements of consumer behaviour and how behavioural economics and discounting can actually go hand in hand. We're going to talk through how to choose the right content, how to choose your publishers, understand as an advertiser what's in your court, what's your negotiating toolkit, and what does that look like. Then we're going to start looking at the campaign process. What is your checklist? What are your must-dos throughout all stages of a campaign, including that pre-campaign planning? The big topic on everyone's mind at the moment is Black Friday, so I'm going to take you through that in a little bit of detail, and then give you some pointers as to where you can go to keep up to speed with affiliate news. This is a really fast-moving industry, so give you a couple of pointers on some of the best places to keep up to date, and then we'll launch into the Q&A at the end. So you can add your questions onto the webinar chat, so please do, and we'll try, as Michelle said, to answer all of those as we go through. So let's get started. So why should you discount? So over the last year, the Groupon Reach Network has been doing a number of different surveys to really understand consumer behaviour, and we asked a sample size of 2,000 individuals. How likely would you be to make a spontaneous purchase if you were offered a code? So these are individuals that weren't planning to make a purchase, but actually, if the right content, the right offer, the right discount was there, would they be likely to make a purchase? And actually, a staggering 62% of the study groups that we asked said they were either quite likely or very likely to make that spontaneous purchase. We then also asked the group, for those people who use discount codes in at least 1 in every 5 purchases, we asked them if the lack of a code would actually make them shop elsewhere. So if you are a discount savvy consumer, you look to save on your takeaways, you look to save on your wardrobe updates, would actually landing on an advertiser site, not having a code available, would it make you shop elsewhere if a competitor was offering that discount? And 67%, which is quite significantly high, said they would look to shop elsewhere if their, I guess, appetite for that code and for a discount wasn't met. So these are just 2 of the questions that we went through in the with our cohort group in the study. And I think it really shows that discount codes are on consumers' minds. It can shape how consumers go through their purchase journey, and it can shape their decisions. And this is really tapping into the consumer subconscious. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to take you through how behavioural economics and discounting go hand in hand. And to do this, I want to start with taking you through the scarcity principle. So scarcity, FOMO, fear of missing out, exclusivity. We know it by many names, but it's fundamentally about the same thing. If it's hard to get, if it seems exclusive, it must be worth something. So the scarcity principle is people attach more value to things that are fewer in quantity or harder to get. And to take you through this, I want to show you, I want to discuss just an example of how this is used in advertising. So it's not a new principle. It's been used in advertising for decades to come. So if we look at Disney introduced their Disney Vault, which is basically a toolkit to be able to incentivize purchasing before a VHS goes back into the vault. And it's a tactic that they've used consistently with the creation of the vault and then the introduction of DVD and Blu-ray releases. So it's taking something that's basically omnipresent, your Jungle Book, your Little Mermaid, your Lion King. It's been around for 80 years. And then it's introducing an element of scarcity and the fear of missing out because products are being taken out of being omnipresent and the ability to buy. So let me show you this short video, which just explains how Disney are in fact using this tactic.
On January 31st, Mickey will be leaving. Hello? Sleeping Beauty will go back to sleep. And Mowgli will go back to the jungle.
I'm going to stay here with you. Goodbye.
Because on January 31st, Disney will stop selling the Jungle Book, Sleeping Beauty, and Fun and Fancy Free. So before they go back into the Disney Vault for years to come, hurry. Hurry! Don't miss your chance to own these magical Disney videos before they disappear.
So this is using something that has been around for years and how do you incentivize purchasing on it? So Disney actually tap into some of these consumer behaviors and use the pull of something not being available or being available only for a short time to drive consumer purchasing. So how can you tap into these behaviors using your voucher strategy? Well, there's a number of different ways. So the first one is looking at using exclusive content, making something feel unavailable through other channels. Exclusive content with publishers allows you to tap into that scarcity principle. Customers won't be able to get it elsewhere. It will help increase your conversion rate, increase the appetite from customers. You could also use this by looking at a limited number, limited availability. So if something's harder to get, it's more enticing for the customer. So if you limit the number of codes available, for example, this Just Eat offer that ran on Voucher Cloud had limited codes available. And that meant that once that was promoted out to a database, those individuals knew that there were a limited number available. It increases that appetite and that user intent to grab something that is not going to be available to everybody. You can also use it with the messaging and with the offer durations that you're running. So by offering a code that runs for a year, you're not introducing that sense of urgency into the purchase channel. So by running a code that runs for 1 week or 1 day and using messaging like hurry ends today or hurry ends in 1 week's time, you're actually creating some of that urgency. So urgency, exclusive content, and actually looking at how can you limit, how can you make an offer come across as more appealing, more appetizing to consumers. So that's great, but actually, how do you go about choosing your content? When you look at the industry, when you look at your competitors, there's lots of different content types. So what should you be considering when you're reviewing what content to run with publishers and within the affiliate channel? I think the very first step you need to take is really going back to basics. What are your KPIs? What are you looking to get out of this channel? Are you looking to drive brand awareness, drive engagement? Are you looking just for volume of sales? Or are you looking actually you have a category or a product that you have large volumes of that you want to sell en masse, or actually, do you want to entice higher quality customers, so customers that can come to the site and increase your program's AOV overall? So the options that you have are looking at, should you run a site-wide offer that's applicable to everything, or should it be category or product specific? So if you have that niche product, or you have a category where you've introduced new lines, or that's your focus, that's your KPI as a business to increase the engagement of that specific category, you probably verge on running that type of offer. If you're looking for large volume, large interest, and conversion across every category on your site, then you'd lean more towards the site-wide discounts. Now, one of the questions that I get from advertisers most frequently is, what should we offer? Should we offer a flat percentage discount or a spend and save, so that you actually cap the amount that the customer needs to spend in order to trigger the discount? And I'll go on to my recommendations after this, but I think it comes back to your KPIs again. What type of customer do you want on site? Do you want a customer coming to site and spending £20 and getting a 20% discount? You may want that if you're looking for volume and you're just looking to drive large revenues, but you've got to be mindful of your margins. Or do you actually want a customer that comes to the site and spends a little bit more? How do you want to use the voucher channel? Lots of advertisers will toggle between both. So run flat percentage discount offers, like your 5% to 20% off everything on site for a short period, so maybe for a 1 week period a month. And then you would open up and look at, okay, how can I drive value through the affiliate channel outside of that? And a really good way to do it is through those spend and save offers, which actually allow you, if your program AOV is £50, will encourage you to actually, how can I get customers to be higher quality? One of your KPIs may be increasing that AOV. So actually, by making a discount, by giving customers a discount and setting the minimum spend at higher than your AOV, you're doing two things. You're driving a higher value purchase from your customers, but you're also giving them that discount that they're looking for to be able to convert. So it's a win-win situation. And we'll come on to the number of publishers you should be working with shortly, but it's looking at, should you run affiliate exclusive, so exclusive offers that are only available to partners within the affiliate channel, or should you look at publisher specific exclusives? Then going back to your KPIs, is full price, driving full price, selling full price items what you want to do and get out of the channel? Or do you want to help incentivize customers to make sale purchases to reduce your stock that is currently on sale? Free delivery codes are very prominent across the channel. This is even more so after the last couple of months as COVID has hit and more individuals are making online purchases. So even though when looking at your margins, you may decide that a 20% code is the best to run with, actually take a step back and think about, as a consumer, what would deliver you more value, having that 20% off or being able to get free delivery. You can use the channel to drive customer acquisition, and you can run codes that apply to both new and existing customers, or you can segment and focus in on just new customer acquisition. And then it's the type of code. If you're running a 20% off with the Groupon Reach Network, if we have a code that is extremely long and doesn't make sense and isn't personalized to the publisher that you're running that with, you may see a lower conversion than if you ran a code that was Groupon 20 in the channel. So it's thinking about, the code messaging and how that can iterate with customers as they are engaging through publishers with your content. So what are my recommendations? So site-wide codes always perform better, and that is because there are no restrictions to it. So I would say if you're looking for high volume in a short space of time, site-wide codes is the route to go down. However, as I mentioned earlier, spend and save codes will deliver you quality. So what you want to do is be able to toggle between the both. And I would suggest running a site-wide code for, say, 1 week of the month, and spend and save codes that will deliver you less quantity, but higher quality customers for the remainder of the month. In terms of looking at full price or sale offers, you could run both, looking at affiliate exclusives and publisher exclusives. You could run both. So if you put a code into the affiliate channel and you communicate that it's exclusive across all partners in the affiliate channel, that will be picked up. Your publishers will, obviously, it's important to discuss with them what exposure you're looking to run. But lots of publishers will demand complete exclusivity, so something that is specific to them. As an advertiser, you may feel that actually an affiliate exclusive that you can share with 5 partners is really, really strong. It's something that you only want to do every once a month, etc. But you will get pushback from publishers that are looking for that complete exclusivity, so that it's an offer that is run only by that partner at any one time. And the demand from the publishers will typically be, it has to be the best in market offer. They won't want to necessarily run an exclusive offer if you've then got another publisher running an exclusive offer side by side, even if they are different. In terms of new customer codes and existing customer codes, again, it comes back to quantity. If you have less restrictions on the terms and conditions of your offer, then you're going to see higher volumes. But you need to look back to what are your KPIs. If new customer acquisition is a KPI, absolutely run new customer codes that are stronger and potentially longer than codes that are available to both new and existing customers. So definitely you can run both at any one time. And then, as I spoke about previously, the personalized codes for publishers convert at a higher rate. So if you're working with Groupon, try personalizing the code so that we get a better conversion rate from the customer base. Now, leading on to choosing your publishers. So there are hundreds, thousands of publishers out there. Who should you be working with? How many publishers should you be working with? So these are questions that you need to be asking yourself. And I know it's especially daunting when you launch in performance marketing to identify the publishers. Awin can help with that in terms of lists of publishers that you can consider working with. So think back to your KPIs. How does your brand, how do the products that you're selling to consumers fit with the publisher? What type of publisher do you need? And how many publishers should you be working with? So my recommendations for choosing your publishers is, if you have a brand and products that are specifically niche and would fit really well, so let's say you have a fashion site, ideally you're going to want to find publishers that have a strong focus on that fashion sector. So find those niche publishers, but really, absolutely, and I can't stress enough, don't ring fence yourself. Don't only work with publishers that only focus on fashion. Spread your net and work with multiple publishers, as long as they do cover your vertical. Lots of voucher publishers work across multiple sectors, so there's going to be lots of scope and lots to choose from. In terms of what type of publisher do you need, obviously we're talking about, you know, building your voucher strategy and working with voucher publishers, but you don't just discount with your voucher partners. You've also got content partners, influencers, bloggers. And then also cashback partners that you really should consider working with. Don't limit the scale of your operation, but do limit the amount of time that it takes to work with those publishers. So whilst in terms of the number of publishers you should work with, I would suggest spreading that net as far as you can based on your resource. What you will want to do over time is actually start to drill down on performance and really understand who your top publishers are, because this industry is built on relationships, and it's so important to build that personal relationship with the publisher manager or the account manager at the publisher, as that will open you up to more opportunities than you would get without building that relationship. How to drive full price. So a little controversial, and I know we're talking about working with voucher partners and building out your voucher strategy, but actually I really want to bring it home to you that you can use voucher partners to drive full price purchases on site. There's a lot of advertisers that work in the space that typically don't discount, won't discount, and don't want to, and that stance has been pretty cemented in their strategies. What you can do, if you're a brand that is feeling a little bit unsure of whether you want to go down the discount route, is actually trying to understand how can voucher publishers actually allow you to drive these incremental sales at a full price. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. A lot of the bigger publishers have a reward offering, which is essentially a gift card, which can be triggered once a customer spends a certain amount. So spend £80 and get a £5 gift card. It's still offering an incentive to the customer to get them through that purchase journey and to get them to convert. It's also driving up your AOV on site, or can be used to drive up the AOV. Say your AOV is £70. When I mention AOV, I mean your average order value. So if your average order value is £70, you may want to get the customer to spend a little bit more so that they trigger the threshold for the offer, and customers can then get the £5 gift card. If you're working with a publisher that can't do this, and you have lower priced products available on site, then you could offer a free gift as well. So spend a certain amount and then get a free gift worth X amount. So this example, spend £80 and get a free gift worth £20. Lots of beauty companies actually do this by incentivizing customers to spend a little bit more than their average customer would, and then offering a free sample bundle as a gift. So setting this up as a code that customers can use for then that free gift to be dispatched to the customer with their purchase. So we've spoken a bit about what offers to use in the channel, what publishers to work with, and now we're going to look at what's in your core, what's your negotiation toolkit. And you may think as a publisher, as an advertiser new to the space, that you don't have a lot to bargain with, but absolutely you do. I feel that in most scenarios, advertiser actually holds the reins when it comes down to negotiation. So in your core, you have exclusive content. So you are able to negotiate with publishers based on having exclusive content available. You are also able to negotiate on your commission rate. This is probably the strongest pull that you have when you're negotiating with a publisher over what exposure to run and over why to run with that publisher. So one thing I will say, and I think this is shared when you join up to the AWIN platform, is try and remember to keep your base commission lower than the maximum that you can afford, because that gives you more negotiating power. Publishers, when advertisers approach to run specific campaigns, or when publishers approach advertisers to run campaigns, publishers will always look to increase the CPA rates for the promotion. If you set your CPA rate to 10%, and that's the absolute max you can go with your margins, then you don't have any negotiation room. So try and use those commission rates as a bit of a pull power to be able to secure more from the publisher, or make publishers feel that actually you're increasing the commercials substantially your side. Also in your court is looking at code duration, so how long the offers run. If you are negotiating with a publisher and they're giving you a couple of bits of exposure and promotion across the site, try and see if you can actually extend the offer by another week and get a little bit more exposure from them. Then we come on to SEM rights, and this is probably not going to be a route of negotiation for all of the advertisers on this call today. But some publishers have dedicated paid media teams that actually run brand plus voucher paid search on a CPC basis for advertisers. And publishers can sometimes ask for these rights when negotiating with advertisers. If you haven't been running any paid activity yourselves, that doesn't matter. Publishers offering and looking to negotiate for SEM rights will only bid on brand plus voucher. They will also cover the full cost, the CPC cost themselves. And they have experienced teams, especially in the Groupon Reach Network's case, specialized teams that actually run this on a 24/7 basis for thousands of brands at any one time. The beauty of offering PPC rights, if available to publishers, is that you don't pay the CPC cost and you still only pay on that performance basis. So you're only paying the publisher when they make a sale for you. So kind of a win-win situation. The last thing that you have in your toolbox to negotiate with is fixed fee, so your budget. A lot of larger publishers will put cost pricing against their exposure across the site and in emails and through push notifications. When you're planning out your strategy for the year, you need to understand, and especially as we move into peak over Q4, you need to understand, do you have additional budget to put forward to secure larger exposure pieces from brands? And if you do, if you can increase the budget that you're offering, then you can also secure more exposure from those publishers. Publishers will have rate card costs, but you always have the ability to negotiate those costs. You can negotiate the cost down by increasing commission. You can negotiate the cost down by providing exclusive content rather than an affiliate-wide exclusive code. You can also negotiate the cost down by making that offer longer in terms of the duration. So as an advertiser, you've actually got quite a lot to work with to secure the most exposure you can directly from the publishers you're working with. So taking us on to going viral and preventing leakage. So we've all heard horror stories about advertisers running a 20% code that they want it to run closed channel, so potentially just to their social, their Facebook users, but actually this gets picked up across various channels. So social codes can go live without your approval. And here's what you should do about it. So firstly, within your own dashboard, check that your advertiser terms are updated. Check that you've listed if that social codes released across Instagram, Facebook, or any channel that you're running are closed, and the sales will not be will be declined, and no commission would be paid. You can also look to check that your commission rates for a specific code that you are using for a closed loop channel is set to 0 on those codes. And lastly, reach out to your publishers. Publishers may load this content because one of the team have seen it on Instagram and thought it was an amazing code. Publishers may add a code because they've seen it on a competitor site. Reach out to the publishers, ask them to remove those unapproved codes. Now, the one thing that you can do to avoid codes going viral is, instead of using, and we've spoken about how incremental personalized codes can be in terms of expanding on increasing the conversion because it's more personalized for the customer. But if you're worried about codes going viral, or you're running what you perceive to be one of your largest campaigns, the best option you have is to look at using unique codes. So lots of publishers will be able to load a CSV file of unique codes, so that each customer that engages with the offer is given a separate code, which means that if leakage does occur, the code won't work because that customer code is unique to the customer that has clicked it. So how do you stand out as an advertiser? There's thousands of advertisers out there. There's a lot of publishers. How do you grab a publisher's attention? How do you get them to want to work with you, especially when you're new to market? So one of the first things to do is to run competitions for your affiliates. Get them excited to drive more sales for you. You can set competitions such as the first affiliate to reach 10 sales over a 2-week period gets a reward. That could be a product from your site. It could be an exclusive offer the next month. Put time and energy into building relationships with your top publishers. If you don't have any communication with your top publishers, you're going to fall off their radar. This industry, as I've mentioned previously, is really built on relationships. So make sure you keep the communication lines open, make sure you're speaking to your publishers, make sure they don't forget about you, in essence, is what I'm getting across there. And then also attend events and network. A relationship industry, attending those networks, speaking to people across the industry, meeting those publishers face to face or digitally, as we're doing now, is so important. We've mentioned slightly about working with larger publishers, and some forms of exposure can come with kind of high cost prices attached to them. That doesn't mean that you should exclude larger publishers to work with. It means you should just adapt your approach. Be very kind of clear in terms of your first conversation with them. Ask for CPA only exposure. There may be opportunities to provide a prize to a customer base, and then based on just an increase of CPA, you could actually get some pretty good exposure across the site. There may be blog opportunities there where your content fits in perfectly with the blog theme. And actually, if you were to be able to offer the right content and the right commission level, then that may allow you to run some cost-free exposure. When I say cost-free, I mean specific budget. Instead of spending £250 or £500, you may be able to get that just for a commission increase. Don't shy away from putting budget into exposure. Ask publishers about lower cost placements and what's available. Make sure that you're sharing your KPIs, your ROI expectation with that publisher. Monitor performance. And as long as that placement is delivering you the ROI and the volume you're looking for, continue to invest with those partners. And as I mentioned earlier, just negotiate with those CPA rates and with your content, because by extending an offer by a week, increasing the discount that you're offering may actually allow you to secure lower cost or commission only exposure with those partners. Just on the right here, I've just put a couple of, obviously I'm a little bit biased being from the Groupon Reach Network, so Groupon and Voucher Cloud are two of our largest UK platforms. I absolutely don't expect advertisers to choose only one partner to work with. Voucher Codes, Global Savings Group are then two of the largest other publishers that sit within the UK market. So absolutely consider spreading your net, working with multiple partners. It may be that when you're drilling through performance, you identify one partner, Groupon for instance, at driving you the best value, and you may want to run more promotions with them. However, from the get-go, don't just choose one partner. Make sure that you're opening the net, make sure that you're seeing and talking and engaging your brand and your content with other customer groups. And this may seem like a no-brainer, but actually it's interesting how many people work in affiliate marketing and actually then forget that it is performance marketing. You pay publishers based on the volume that they're driving. So don't set yourself budget caps when it comes to performance. You're working in this channel for a reason. Don't switch off your affiliate program unless it's absolutely necessary. You can adapt commission rates instead. You can talk to the publishers and really let them know what your goals are. If we've been navigating through a very rocky COVID period where customer behavior, shopping behavior has impacted advertisers and industry sectors in many different ways. Relationships are key. It's really important to be transparent, to share your goals with the publishers. Maybe there's an alternative to switching off a program. Maybe it's you need higher value customers throughout that period. So speak to your publishers and try and understand what your options are before shutting off a program. So this brings us to agreeing a campaign. So the campaign checklist, and this deck and a recording of this deck will be shared with you afterwards. So you don't need to be scribbling notes, but what should you ask for when speaking with a publisher? So media packs, competitor insights, and case studies. Most publishers will work with a lot of advertisers similar to you. They'll work with advertisers in your sector. They'll be able to provide you with case studies and with insights that can help shape what content you want to offer and how you work with them as an advertiser. I've honed on this a few times, but absolutely share your KPIs, share your ROI goals, and share your expectations. Don't work with a publisher and provide them with a code, and then at the end of it, you're not happy with the results. Make sure those expectations are really clear and negotiate. For any campaign you run, make sure that you continue negotiating, because you've got a lot of tools to lean on to actually reduce the price, increase the exposure that you want from that partner. So pre-campaign. So you've agreed a campaign with a publisher. They've given you their media pack. They've given you details of what is coming up. You've agreed the content. You've agreed the commercials. You've agreed what exposure will run over the period. So once that's all firmed down, what do you need to ask for? So if possible, and not all publishers can provide this, but ask for pre-flights of the exposure. If you've secured an email slot, ask for just a brief of what that email looks like, just so you can check. This is your brand that's being communicated out to customers. You want to just make sure that it's being communicated in the way that you've agreed. You also want to ask for confirmation of the exposure. Just get the publisher to reconfirm the dates that your exposure is running. What to check? This may sound silly, but you do really need to check that that code is working. So on your site, do a code test, make sure that it is offering the discount that it should be to the customers. Once the offer is live on site, make sure you check it. Make sure you have a read through the T's and C's, make sure it's being communicated in the right way. And then check the campaign creative. If banners are used across the site, Make sure that they are the banners that you've provided. Make sure the products aren't being cut out by text overlays. So just go on the site and check that everything is as you've agreed with the publisher. If it isn't, flag it to the publisher straight away and request amendments to be made. So that's before the campaign. When the campaign is running, when it's live, absolutely essential. Check the exposure is live. Check the offer has gone live. Check that the email inclusion that you've been provided and paid for or negotiated commercials for is live. Check the performance in A1. It's really important to make sure that you are tracking how your campaign is running throughout the process. If you are, say, unhappy with the performance, reach out to the publisher. Is there anything else they can do while the campaign is still live to help increase the revenue, increase the traffic for you? And then lastly, take screenshots of exposure. Publishers work with multiple advertisers at any one time and typically don't have the ability to take screenshots of all the exposure when it goes live. If this is something you need to feed back internally or for future reference, take those screenshots yourself. You can always ask the publisher to guide you to the right pages to get those screenshots. And so we've been through the campaign, you've confirmed the campaign with the publisher, you've done your pre-campaign checks, you've been keeping up to date with the campaign while it's been running. What should you now do post-campaign? So in terms of the publisher that you're working with, what should you ask for? So you should definitely ask the publisher, put it back to the publisher to provide you with performance analysis and any insights that they can share from the campaign. How did the email perform versus the on-site banner, etc. You should then ask for the market share analysis. What is very useful to understand is actually how does your offer have an impact on how consumers are purchasing with you and with your competitors on the site. Most larger publishers will be able to give you this competitor market share analysis, and it may actually bring out some very interesting questions in terms of what you can potentially do to further the performance of the campaign. And you'll get into a discussion with the publisher about what are your competitors doing and how can you replicate their success. Make sure you share your feedback, keep transparency with your communication. If you're happy with performance, share that. If you're unhappy with the performance, share it, go back to your KPIs, make sure the publisher understands what you're looking to achieve from a campaign so they can advise you on different routes to take. And then what to do next. Fence yourself to just one publisher until you've tested with multiple partners. So a lot of you on this call might be going, help, my brand is completely new to market. What do I need to do? And it really comes back to testing, okay? Not everything works, and that's okay. And that's why it's so important to test in the channel. Test different offers, test different publishers. Keep up the momentum. You know, brand engagement takes time with the new audience. Don't give up after the first time. And watch the competition. So look at what your closest competitors are doing. If it's a competitor that's been in the market for some time, they've probably drilled down in terms of their voucher strategy. Have a look at what level of discounts they're offering. How are they communicating it with customers? And what offers are they providing publishers? What level of exposure do they have across the site? And then record the performance. I think that's really important. Make sure that you've got, even if it's just a simple Google Doc, showing you which campaigns have worked, haven't worked, which campaigns have met your KPIs and not, so that you can tweak and retest with the same publisher or different publishers. So, as I mentioned earlier, Black Friday is coming. This is probably the biggest, one of the biggest retail days in the UK, especially. And it's really important to be prepared for peak. Lots of publishers are already starting to book placements across Black Friday. It's the highest traffic site. It's a really important day to get involved with. So going back to our study group, we're really interested to understand, when are Black Friday deal seekers, when are they expecting and wanting to use the codes and use the discounts available? So you've actually got here about 13% of customers actually don't go to bed. They're looking to get those discounts as soon as midnight rings. You've then got a number of individuals, and quite a large amount, that are actually going to wait. They're going to wake up early, but they're not getting up at 3, 4 o'clock. They're going to get up at 6, 7 o'clock to try and get the best deals. So it's really important to make sure that your Black Friday content doesn't go live at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Make sure it is live from midnight. And what we can see here, when we kind of look back at consumer behavior, is that these individuals getting up, not going to bed, wanting to get the deals straight away, this is the scarcity and the FOMO principle really coming into effect. So it's those customers, they've got the fear of missing out. They think there's going to be limited number of discounts available. They want to get the best deal, and they won't go to bed. They'll get up, they'll stay up and scour the internet as soon as midnight rings. You've then got the other group, which don't care about it enough to not go to sleep at all, but they will jump on the bandwagon when they get up in the morning, look for the discount. So this is what we call the bandwagon effect. And the bandwagon effect, which refers to the tendency that people have to adopt a certain behavior, a style, or an attitude, really just because everyone else is doing it. So we've had crazes throughout history. The more people that adopt a trend, the more likely it is that other people will also hop on that bandwagon. Black Friday is most definitely one of those bandwagons. And to take you through this, I'm going to show you a video that Wendy's ran, keeping Fortnite fresh.
Now talk Fortnite, shall we? It's the newest video game craze, spreading fast among kids, college kids, even celebrities.
Kids are nuts for this Fortnite.
Fortnite has taken over the gaming world, becoming the most streamed game on Twitch ever. But brands are left out of the action, either tweeting from the sidelines or paying big bucks for in-game sponsorships. So when Fortnite announced a new event called Food Fight between Team Pizza and Team Burger, Wendy's saw an organic way in. We found out Team Burger stored their beef in freezers. And Wendy's doesn't do frozen beef. So we got on Twitch, chose a character with red hair and pigtails, dropped into the game, and instead of killing other players, we started destroying burger freezers. Again and again and again, for 9 hours straight. We also declared our mission on Twitter, sending hundreds of thousands of gamers to Twitch to watch us play. And soon other players stopped killing each other and started killing burger freezers with us.
Hey, Wendy's, dude, let's go!
Top Twitch streamers took notice.
I saw a Wendy's stream over here, dude.
Oh, you smacking the burgers, freezers?
This shit's lit. This kind of stuff keeps the game fresh.
Thank you so much for coming to the stream, Wendy.
News outlets were talking about it. Even Twitch posted a highlight reel of Wendy's best freezer kills. Then our own competitors showed us some respect. But most importantly, the game developers removed the freezers from every burger.
Oh, apologies. I feel like I'm having some technical issues here. We made
a restaurant, meaning Wendy's had rid Fortnite of frozen beef forever.
So apologies for the technical interruptions there, but I think you get the point. There's not just, customers will jump on a bandwagon no matter what it is. And this was actually a Cannes Lion 2019 winner for this campaign. And it goes to show that anyone can jump on the bandwagon. If you make something appealing enough and more people are doing it, then they will jump right in. And that's exactly what has happened with Black Friday. And it's so important to prepare for peak. So firstly, what should you be doing now? What should you be doing in the run up? And then what do you actually need to be doing on the day to make Black Friday a success for you? So you have a good couple of months before November lands. So now is the time to be testing your offer content and seeing how it converts. Test lots of different offer content. Work with multiple publishers, monitor performance, start speaking to publishers about what their plans are. If you can isolate kind of your top 5 publishers over the next couple of months, then you've got a really good indication of who you should be working with, where you should be placing your budget on over the Black Friday period. So in the run up to Black Friday, it's really important to lock in your exposure as early as possible. Spaces are limited across publisher sites. They will book up early. So make sure that you're getting in, that you're speaking to publishers about what their plans are now. Make sure you pre-promote your Black Friday sale as well. If you're going to be going out with a strong discount, let customers know that it is coming out on your site. And check the competition. So ask publishers for insight. What level of discounting is happening across the industry? Black Friday is typically the one day a year that the majority of advertisers will run their strongest ever promotions. Ask publishers for insights as to what your competition are doing, and check out the competition as well. And that's something you should really be doing on Black Friday day itself. If your 2 largest competitors are running stronger content, stronger discounts than you are, be reactive, be able to adapt, be able to work with publishers to drive up your discounts so that you don't get that competitor leakage on the day. Pressure test your site. Ask your publishers, what are their expected traffic volumes? If you're booking in email exposure, site exposure with publishers, get them to give you a steer in terms of what were their traffic volumes last year, what do they expect their volumes to be. Make sure that your sites are robust enough to take you through the traffic increase that you will see on Black Friday. An absolute must for Black Friday, do offer a discount. This year is even more important than previous, because it's been such a rocky year and COVID has impacted the industry to such an extent. We're going to see a lot more advertisers offering discounts, even advertisers that have shied away from running Black Friday promotions previously. So make sure that you're not disrupting the consumer journey and driving your customers elsewhere to make a purchase. Make sure that you've got a compelling discount that will convert them with you. Now, the affiliate channel changes quite quickly. There's lots of news around the industry. So how do you keep up to date? So within this presentation, there's some links to a couple of the main tools that I would go to as a publisher to understand what's happening in the marketplace, what are the discussions around, what are the latest industry trends. So you've got AWIN, obviously, with the news, events, webinars. Make sure that you're engaging across those channels. You have Performance In that write really nice industry pieces, keeping you up to date. You've got The Drum. There is a Facebook group called the Affiliate Cockpit. That group has been set up by the founder of Performance In, and it's really a home for discussion, for education, for debate around the affiliate marketing industry. It is not a group to ask for contact details of a publisher and to solicit sales or leads, etc. So go on Facebook, have a look at the group. It is a members only group, so you will need to request to join that. And then I would just suggest have a read through the rules before you start posting. And then you've got affiliate events. So we've got PI Live, DeMexico, Affiliate Summit Euro, and then AWIN's calendar of events, which you will find in the AWIN link at the top of this slide. So there's lots of different avenues for you to keep abreast of any changes, any trends, any discussion points happening across the industry. So we've been through an awful lot. You'll be pleased to know there is a recording of this webinar, and you will get this deck to be able to digest and have a read through in your own time. But the key takeaways from me to help shape your voucher strategy, to help you work with voucher partners, is test, trial different offer types and durations, track performance, make sure you're keeping a log of which publishers you've worked with, which content you've provided, so you can really make sure that you're running the right campaigns with the right publishers once you've gone through that testing phase. Work with multiple publishers. Don't ring fence yourself and feel that you will achieve everything you've set out to in this channel by partnering with just one partner. That won't happen. Make sure you spread your net wider. Relationships are key. Make sure you're keeping communication channels open with the publishers that you're working with, especially the publishers that are driving the highest volume of sales for you. Keep up to date with affiliate news. Make sure you know what's happening in the industry so you can adapt your strategy if you need to. And prepare for peak now. It's just around the corner. We have a phrase in affiliate marketing, which I think is Christmas in July. Publishers are planning, you should be too. And test. I can't stress enough. Test in the channel. It's okay to make mistakes. As a startup, as an advertiser that's new to the industry, you're not going to win at every single thing you set yourself out to do. But what you will do is learn. And so learn and test again. And that wraps it up for me. So thank you so much for listening. I think we're a bit pressed for time, but we do have a couple of minutes if there are any questions to go through.
Yep, log back on now. Thanks, Claire. That was brilliant. I hope everybody that's listening in enjoyed that as much as I did. We actually had record attendees today. There are a few questions here, so hopefully we can get through them. If we can't, we'll private message back after. So the first one here for you, Claire, is what performs best normally, a cashback offer or coupons?
It varies. I would say that you've got two very different customer groups. You've got a customer group with cashback. You likely have more loyalty. A customer has shared their card details with that advertiser, but it could then be harder to really break through the noise and get that promotion on site. With voucher publishers, you're not putting a barrier in. The customer doesn't need to sign up to anything to be able to get that discount. So I would say for accessibility and ease and reducing restrictions, voucher partners you should see stronger performance with, especially if your brand engagement is low.
Right, there's another one here. I'll read the whole thing out. There's a few parts to it. How do you run a coupon campaign during Black Friday along with sales across the entire online store? Can you just ask the publisher to direct customers to the online store without coupon, but just letting customers know that there are wider sales on the site? Of course, the publisher would get the fee for the referral. Yeah,
absolutely. Good question. You can absolutely ask publishers to promote your offering on site. A lot of your site-wide discounts will be really strong over that period, and it's not uncommon for publishers to just run with that generic discount and strong discounts that you have on site. So yeah, absolutely. Offers can be set up. It may be you're running an up to 30% off everything promotion. That can be the offer message. It can be booked in with exposure. You can still use commission rates to negotiate on that exposure. Some publishers, however, will look for more. Is there anything that you can do on top? And this is both for the publishers to have that exclusive content, which is going to convert better with their customer base. Customers will see this as something better than the rest that you can't get elsewhere. and in that case, I would suggest the most prominent offers the advertisers run that are on top of Black Friday deals are either an extra percentage off, so an extra 5% off, for instance, or a free delivery code. It really depends on you and your margins and what level of exposure you're trying to get from that publisher. If the publisher is not able to budge on the cost of the placement, then that could be a tool that you could use if it works within your margins to offer that exclusive discount. So you can definitely go down both routes for that. It's just important that you are offering customers a discount, whether it is exclusive to a publisher or not, on the day.
Great, thank you. I think we've got time if it's a quick answer to this one, and then if everyone wants to hang on, I'll just let you know about the next webinars coming up. So the last question for today, what are some general KPIs that these advertisers should set, and have you got any examples? Yeah, so those KPIs should really be your KPIs. So when you're approaching when you're approaching your kind of yearly plan, what do you want to achieve? The most prominent KPIs that are shared with me by other advertisers are: we want to drive new customer acquisition, we want to increase transaction frequency on site, so we want to get customers coming back to make a second purchase, and that can be done through consistent promotion and exposure with a partner. And we also we want to deliver higher value sales. So sales that will drive the average order value of the program up. Great. Okay, that's it, guys. We haven't got time for any more questions. If you want to speak with us offline, email me michelle.o'sullivan@awin.com and I will respond and connect you to Claire. Just to let you know that the next webinar that we will be running, I will email you all like I did for this one. It's going to be September the 15th. It's going to be presented by some of the client service team at AWIN, and it's going to be around how you can manage influencers on the AWIN platform and how you can incorporate them into your program strategy. And there will be a guest influencer joining us for that. And on September the 29th, we are then doing another session on what is CSS, which is going to be guest presented by Alistair from RedBrain. Like I say, I'll email this out to you all. I'm trying to find another way of doing this so I don't feel like I'm spamming you on them, but welcome you all to join us for those sessions, the 15th and the 29th. And like I say, email us with any other questions that you might have, and thank you all so much for your time. Thanks, Claire. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.